has the journey been like for you to sort of get into the sandals of a character that was iconic before this game?
Sandals? I see
Right,
what you did there.
yeah.
I love her. You're awesome. You know, it was a bit daunting to take over such an iconic character, and then not only take him over, but then take him in a completely different direction. So yeah, you know, and there were times where you kind of felt the pressure, but you know, with Corey's kind of unwavering guidance and the tremendous performances from the rest of the cast, I mean, it was it's almost embarrassing to take credit for Kratos because it was such a collaborative effort. Earlier in my career, I don't think I would have been prepared to play him. I probably reached inside for more stuff than I have ever at any time in my career, and I really wasn't prepared to do it earlier in my career, and it was something that I consciously avoided. But this, you know, I was at a transitional period in my life, and so was Kratos. So it kind of married very nicely.
This was a couple of your first experiences with video games, right? Corey, what was it like working with them?
They were extremely difficult. Divas, the lot of them. No, it was wonderful. I was very fortunate to have a cast that worked so well together. Incredible chemistry. Every day was a fun day.
So, I mean, this is kind of the end of your award season, right? Like, I mean, God of War has done so exceptionally well. Has the glow worn off at all, or is this still, like, a bit magical?
Oh, it feels like magic every time that there's a new announcement. I didn't realize how many award ceremonies there were for video games, but I think we won over 200 Game of the Year.
God of War was such a huge franchise before, and you really did take a risk to sort of turn it around and make a character like Kratos nuanced. I mean, it must have been quite terrifying at parts, but it's kind of paid off, I guess.
It's still terrifying. Yeah, it was... I think I was too stupid to realize how much of a risk it was in the beginning. So I was like, oh, I got a great idea. And I just kind of ignored what everybody else was saying. And then about halfway through, I realized, what have I done? Oh, I have to finish this.
And the BAFTA goes to God of War.
Wow. It's really hard for a game designer to walk downstairs in heels. Thank you so much to BAFTA for this honor. It's a huge, it's humbling to our team entirely. It's something that I don't think any of us in our careers would ever think we could achieve something like this. To our fellow nominees, you all created some amazing sounding games. Without your guys' craft, we wouldn't be able to push ourselves as well. I'm only one of an amazing an awesome team at Sony Interactive and Santa Monica Studios. On behalf of myself, Mike Niederquell, and Todd Pippery, and an entire Sony Interactive PD Sound team, I have to thank all our sound designers, our integrators, and our whole dialogue crew, and even our team out here in the UK that helped us out at CSG, and even our localization team. Thank you so much for getting the game out the door for us. And of course, to Corey Barlog, to Shannon and Yumi and the entire God of War dev team. Without the world, that amazing world that you created, we would not have been able to create the soundscape for the game. So thank you, and from Hawaii, we always say mahalo nui loa, so thank you.
The BAFTA for music goes to God of War.
Well, this is amazing. Thank you very much. I have a few people to thank, but first and foremost, I want to thank and congratulate our wonderfully talented composer, Bear McCreary. And I want to thank Bear for being so collaborative, for bringing so much passion and energy to the project, but most of all, for writing such a truly phenomenal score. Thank you, Bear. thank you to my good friend Peter Scatoro, who's a fellow music producer. And and to the entire Sony Interactive Music team watching back home in sunny California. Hi everybody, we won. Thank you to Corey Barlog and to everybody at Santa Monica Studios for inviting us along on this journey with them and for creating lifetime memories like this tonight. Thank you to all the amazing musicians and singers who performed so beautifully on the score. And finally, for the video game industry to have the support and recognition from such a prestigious academy is just, well, bloody marvellous. Thank you, BAFTA.
And the BAFTA for narrative is awarded to God of War.
There's a mark to put the award, but I got to put it the other direction. All right. I can follow directions. Hello, everybody. First, I want to thank the amazing writers, Rich Gobert, Matt Sovos, Adam Dolan, and Orion Walker. We had a very long road on this project. It was filled with a lot of doubt, and we rewrote the script a few times. Sony gave us incredible support. My production partner, Yumi Yang, every single person at Sony Santa Monica Studios who worked tirelessly to realize the numerous changes that came on a daily basis when we decided, oh, we have a better idea. This will be so much better. Thank you for all the support from every single person who enjoyed the game and all of the excellent games that were nominated. I am a huge fan of every single one of these, so thank you for everybody for creating.
So I'm here with Corey, who of course has just won for God of War for narrative. I mean, that is a big category to walk away with. You must be kind of pleased.
Yeah, it's very exciting. There was such amazing competition this year in all the categories, and narrative especially, such heavy hitters with amazing games that I am very surprised. Very proud, but very surprised.
Coming into a franchise like God of War, which is quite heavy in its sort of approach to things, and obviously, you know, keeping that sense of weight to kind of like the story, but then also weaving in these incredibly subtle, emotional, like having to kind of switch between those two. I mean, that must be, I don't know how you'd begin to start that journey in your head and get that kind of ebb and flow of pace of story. Like, what do you do? Do you stick Post-it notes everywhere? Do you have like a serial killer, like apartment thing, you know, with bits of string?
Yeah, I actually worked with note cards. When I finally was able to work with the writers and we cracked the story that it ended up being, it started as a stack of about 180 note cards.
Really?
Where I was just trying to map out sort of the key beats. But it all kind of began with this idea of giving Kratos a second chance to be a dad, right? And for me, it was my first sort of foray into being a dad, and sort of thinking back to my father and sort of our experiences together, and then me realizing, like, what kind of dad do I want to be?
And the BAFTA for Best Game is awarded to God of War.
Okay, I wanted to take a moment because I didn't really appreciate that I was standing on this stage last time. This is a pretty amazing thing. First, I want to thank the BAFTAs for this. This is amazing. I want to thank the amazing cast that I had to work with on this. You guys really elevated the words off of the page. The Santa Monica team, every single person. I wish I could sit here and just list off all their names, but that would take 12 hours. But they all know what they did, and they did something damn amazing. Yumi Yang, my production partner, and the only reason that I'm semi-sane at the end of all of this. Shannon Studstill, Scott Rohde, Shuhei Yoshida, and Sean Layden for an incredible amount of support during this process, because I can't imagine why in the world they thought it was a great idea in the beginning, because it didn't really feel all that fleshed out, but, you know, we can trick people, mind games. And, you know, look, creating things is really hard, as we all know. It is daily failure, constant doubt, this feeling that what you're doing is really not that great, not that good. And every once in a while there's a shining moment of, aha, I got it, which is followed by sobbing. And no small amount of yelling at each other for years on end. But when we reach that end point, no matter what the outcome is how the audience receives it. That victory that we all in this room share for completing something, for creating something, for adding to this industry is amazing. And I salute every single one of you for being members of the battlefield, for creating. And I thank every single person who actually creates things that inspires me to want to retire because all of your stuff is really good. All right, I really think that's it. Seriously, you guys are amazing, and we would not be here without all of you. Thank you, everybody.
We are here with the winners of not only Best Game, but 4 other awards as well. Jeremy, you've stormed it. God of War has smashed the BAFTAs. Well done, high five.
Oh,
there you go. Well done. How do you feel?
Overwhelmed and excited.
Yeah?
Very proud of everybody that I'm working with, and just happy.
It's really.
I mean, how is it, obviously, in that relationship, you know, obviously, Jeremy, you won Best Performer. There are some hugely visceral, base, you know, moments. How do you, first of all, how do you get into that space, and how do you get that out of him? With a stick?
Yeah.
Okay, like, how does it work? Because, I mean, it's harder as well, because, you know, it's a game, you know, you're not kind of standing on a set with, like, everything else there, and you're kind of, like, in that moment. It must be so much harder to pull that emotion and that performance out.
What do you think?
Do you want to go first or second?
Oh,
I want to pull the performance out of you right now.
Wow, okay.
Oh, my.
Yeah, I'll say, again, it goes back to Corey's multi-dimensionally brilliant instincts. You know, getting there. You know, it did a lot of good. Just the fact that he, as I was saying earlier, he trusted me and cast me. He thought it was a good idea to cast me as a god with a badass mid-Atlantic dialect. When he saw me, the first time we talked, he said, "Well, I saw you playing the homicidal, you know, Trumpian redneck on Justified," and
which he was brilliant at.
Yeah. Well, that's debatable, but it just imbued a real rich sense of trust. And again, when he's on the set, he's just incredibly loving, and it's
amazing.
Very easy for him. So, thank you, brother.
I attribute my pain to my ex-husband, so there you go.
Everyone has their methods and tools, as long as you get the job done.
Tell you what,
Thanks,
exes will give you that life experience,
And
that's
then
for
working
sure.
with such brilliant actors such
That's
as Jeremy.
second. I want to ask what you think makes God of War such enduring appeal, but I feel also this God of War is so markedly different from the games that have come before it that it's almost like a two-part question, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, I think as developers, as people, we were quite ready for a change. We were really, I think, looking for something different. We had been doing something very similar for over a decade and realized we need to try something. We need to get out of our comfort zone. We need to be uncomfortable, and we need to be scared. And then we got scared and realized how scary scared was.
It's a different level.
And I wanted to turn the ship around because it was really scary for years. But that was part of the experience. And I think that resonates, that sort of raw emotion that we were all experiencing throughout all of this, how much we were willing to put of ourselves into it. And we're talking everybody on the team, the performers, as well as everybody who's creating content on the game. I mean, you know, you guys put way more of yourselves into this than I think you probably bargained for in the beginning.
Yeah.
Great answer.
You know what else has changed? 10 years ago when we did God of War 2, it was all kill, kill, kill. That was sort of the mindset.
And embed the women.
We were.
And embed the women.
It was very Conan.
Well, we tried to be historically accurate, I suppose. I don't know. But now we are all older. We have children. And so it just didn't seem like the game to make anymore. You know, it's like you view life differently as you get older and, you know, start a family and all that.
I mean, I've heard the phrase, it's the perfect game, from a lot of different places. And, you know, it's such a weighty phrase, but I mean, come on, it's pretty blooming close. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, do you feel good about that, or does that put like a bunch of pressure for the next thing you're going to do?
which might or might not be God of War 2.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I feel an incredible amount of pressure. You know, nobody expected a lot from us on the first one. They were either surprised that we were even making one, and then going like, I don't know, hashtag not my God of War. That happened. But now, I definitely think we've got a bar that we have to clear if we're going to do something else.